and welcome back to the FWA YouTube channel. Coming up next in Thorpe Park is the debut of two of the most exciting young wrestlers from Wales, as Mike Hitchman takes on Mark Andrews in this Adrenaline Division match.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, it is a singles bout set for one fall with a 10-minute time limit, part of the Adrenaline Division. Introducing first, ladies and gentlemen, from South Wales, weighing in at 13 stone, this man calls himself the Wild Boar.
The Wild Boar, Mike Hitchman on his way to the ring as we get ready for more adrenaline action here at Thorpe Park. You can see where he gets the name from, that nasal breathing. It looks like he's just a pent-up animal ready to charge. First time we've seen Hitchman competing here in the FWA.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, coming to the ring at this time from South Wales, winning at 10 stone 10, this is Mark Andrews.
Well, certainly this relaunched Adrenaline Division attracting the top young talent from around the UK. Mark Andrews is a prime example of that. Been competing around the country as the Lightning Kid. Now bringing his talent to bear against the best in the country. Starting with this singles match against the Wild Boar. Both of these men from Dragon Pro Wrestling, British Wrestling Coalition's first training school in South Wales. North Wales represented in the BWC system by Basics Wrestling. Truly nationwide operation nowadays, the British Wrestling Coalition, as this one gets underway and a side headlock applied by Hitchman. Given that these two are from the same training school, you'd expect that they will know each other quite well, as Hitchman in the early going using that superior size to knock down Andrews. There's the agility of Andrews, both men playing to their strengths for the leapfrog as Andrews rolls round. Maybe going to go for an early cover. Hitchman breaking out of the front face lock as the clock is ticking here. Adrenaline Division rule, it's under 24s only, and it's a 10-minute time limit. No time to be staying in rest holds for very long. It really does guarantee high-flying action of the highest quality, as you would expect from the FWA, and these are the guys who are the future of British wrestling. Mark Andrews there showing you why. Hitchman once again playing to his strengths as he caught Andrews. Backflip dropkick from Andrews as Hitchman takes a timeout on the outside. Andrews will fly. Andrews over the top rope. We saw him lining him up, but absolutely fearless is Andrews as lands on Hitchman and rolls him back into the ring. You can't beat your opponent outside the ring. With not long to play with time-wise, he needs to hurry up as Hitchman counters and drops Andrews unceremoniously over the top rope. Excited to see both these guys in this division. Hitchman goes for a cover, didn't hook the leg, and Andrews kicks out at 2. Andrews considered one of the great high flyers, the most potential anywhere in the country, and that really is saying something when you look at some of the high flying talent we have here. So many guys with great aerial ability, the likes of Shane Oldham, of Xander Cooper, Zack Gibson. We've seen all of those three wrestle in the Adrenaline Division recently. Andrews is right up there with them, whereas Hitchman bringing a completely different dynamic. Stronger than all of them. Can he outfox him? Andrews has that speed, he's showing it again here, rolls him up. Over the shoulders are down. Didn't get full body weight over the top of Hitchman. And now goes for a release German suplex, and Andrews landing hard on the back of his head. Hitchman goes for the cover. He had the good sense to drag Andrews towards the middle of the ring before he went for that fall. Away from the ropes. Corner, there's that wild boar. Andrews goes for a stomp, nobody home. Pounding arm over the middle of the back from Hitchman. So really back and forth, back and forth. These two young prospects from DPW really impressing here in London at Thorpe Park, the nation's thrill capital, and we're seeing plenty of thrills in this adrenaline contest. Throw on Andrews. Again goes for the cover, but too many of these covers from Hitchman have been kind of lax. He needs to use that extra body weight, really get body-on-body contact, tie up the leg as well, and he might turn one of these pin attempts from a 2 into a 3, but time is running out. See Hitchman now trying to slow down the match to a pace that suits him better. It's not in Andrews' interest, he's trying to break himself free. Hitchman goes for a clothesline and Andrews counters with that big kick to the temple. Atomic drop from Andrews. Rolls through victory. Oh, and a stomp into the gut of Hitchman. Now Andrews with the cover. Andrews suffering from the same problem as Hitchman, didn't hook the leg. Left shoulder goes up. Andrews trying to get this crowd at Thorpe Park behind him. Close to 20,000 people in the park today. Many of them watching FWA wrestling as part of their day out. Dangerous territory here, both men up on the turnbuckle. Oh, Hitchman's lost his balance. Hitchman is hanging precariously, and then another stomp from Andrews. My God, that must have knocked all of the wind out of Hitchman's body. The cover, this must do it. It doesn't. You've got to hand it to Hitchman, great resilience, got that left shoulder up again. Andrews looking to put this one to bed now. Goes up to the second, and now the top turnbuckle. Hitchman knew what he was doing, and again has cut him off at the pass. We're back to where we were a moment ago, both men on the turnbuckle. Headbutt from Andrews. Nothing pretty about that, it was effective. There might be something pretty about this. Yes, there is! A shooting star press! And Andrews, Mark Andrews, as fast as lightning, the Lightning Kid, with the win here at Thorpe Park. Mark Andrews, making his intentions clear to the Adrenaline Division. With a win over a very, very tough opponent. A much bigger man in Mike Hitchman. Now, hang on. Well, speaking of much bigger men, that's Styx. That's Styx, the heavyweight House of Pain. He shouldn't be here. What's this about? Well, FWA fans who were with us during season 1 in 2010 will know that Styx and his tag team partner Malin were indefinitely suspended from the FWA after hospitalising Shane Oldham, another Adrenaline star. How on earth has Styx got in here? Someone must have let him past security. Why is Styx in an FWA ring when he has been barred from doing so?
Did you idiots enjoy that last match? Well, I didn't! And I don't give a damn what anyone in here thinks! And let me tell you why. This is nothing personal, boy. This is just business. For the last almost year, my partner, Paul Malin, has been sitting at home, suspended, because of what he did to that little punk, Shane Spiral. And out of loyalty, I've been with him. But now is the time for me to come back and finish what I began almost a year ago. And that's beating the hell out of people like you, and ironically looking at here, people like each and every one of you. I've been sitting backstage watching this match, and you're a great athlete, Mark Andrews. You can fly around, you can do some amazing stuff. But what I want to know is, are you man enough to take on a bigger challenge? Do you have the balls to take on the heavyweight house of pain?
It's not a fair thing to ask. Andrews has already been in a match.
Just because I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to give you the first shot. Everyone, shut up, the morons! You don't have to answer me with words. All you've got to do is take the first swing.
Andrews is asking the crowd whether he should accept this challenge from Styx, who still, by the way, shouldn't be here, but putting that aside, Andrews goes for a forearm to the face of Styx. This may not be the smartest decision this young man's ever made. He goes for the ropes and almost gets decapitated. Goodness me. Andrews is in some real trouble. Uppercut from Styx and a snapmare. This is brutal and more to the point. It shouldn't be happening at all. Styx shouldn't even be here. Well, clearly we need some help out here. Chris Roberts, the referee, is shouting as he drops him hard with that spinning slam. Well, no disrespect to Chris Roberts, but one man shouting at Styx isn't going to be enough to get him out. We need some bodies out here because Mark Andrews is being taken apart. Thankfully, it seems, well, I was going to say it seems that Styx has had enough. Maybe not. Andrews is still suffering, trying to hear what Styx is saying. He picks him up. Don't do this. Don't do this. Andrews, a brutal powerbomb. That could have just ended that guy's career. He was dropped so hard. Styx must be twice the body weight, 3 times the experience at least. Well, Styx making a statement, an ominous statement to everyone in the FWA that he is back. There's an interesting retelling of history here, to say the least. Him saying that his partner Malin was suspended. I thought they were both suspended.
Just like I thought. The entire FWA adrenaline division is a joke compared to someone like me. Now, because I didn't even break a sweat, I'm going to be back here later on today. And anybody, and I mean anybody, who wants to step in the ring with me, this is your fate right here.
None of this makes any sense to me. Why is Styx challenging anyone backstage in the adrenaline division to a match when he's not even supposed to be part of the FWA roster? This man is suspended. As far as I possibly know, unless something's changed and we haven't been told, There's no way he should be in this ring. Mark Andrews needs some help. This is a confusing situation and a very anxiety-inducing one for young Mark Andrews. Actually, in fact, it's probably a pretty anxiety-inducing situation for at least one other member of the Adrenaline division. Shane Oldham must be looking at this and wondering if Styx has chosen to pick on the Adrenaline division because he wants revenge on him, the man who he blames for his suspension.
Hello, I'm Francesca Wood and welcome to the FWA YouTube channel. When Nick Riley and Zack Gibson were preparing for the match at Thorpe Park, little did they know that the Agenda were waiting in the wings, ready to deliver a message to them and the rest of the FWA roster.
Introducing first, ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Liverpool, weighing this afternoon at 13.5 stone, this is Zack Gibson!
Getting ready for action from the Adrenaline division here at Thorpe Park. Dave Bradshaw at ringside, and the nation's thrill capital. Ready for action in the ring is Zack Gibson.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, hailing from Devon, weighing in at 13.5 stone, this is Nick Riley!
You know, a lot of the youngsters in the BWC system have looked at Nick Riley over the past few months and had a certain amount of, I guess, jealousy in that he's become a central part of the Resistance's war effort against the Agenda. Zack Gibson, I'm sure, must be thinking he can prove that he's able to hang with the big dogs in the yard if he can beat Nick Riley here today. Getting ready for action and well, hang on, I'm being joined here by Chris G-Man Garrett at the commentary table. Chris, welcome, but to what do I owe the pleasure? You're not normally out here for Adrenaline matches.
Oh no, I've just been sent out to call a match. Okay. Wrestling, you know, wrestling! Nick Riley versus Zack Gibson.
Well, you certainly joined us for a good contest. Nick Riley and Zack Gibson, two of the top talents in the BWC system, and good to see Riley back in this division. He's had his issues with the Agenda as part of the Resistance last year, but now back to some good old-fashioned wrestling here in the Adrenaline League.
Absolutely, Dave. Is it good to see me?
Well, it's a surprise.
A surprise? Really?
Whether it's a good one or not, I won't bother commenting on. Riley turns that into a crucifix, gets Gibson's shoulders down for 2.
Whoa!
Backward swept off the legs of Gibson and went for the cover. Gibson returning the favour, just a 1 count.
Oh,
even opening stages.
Nice little exchange there, Dave Bradshaw, by these two young wrestlers. Have you been on any rides yet at Thorpe Park, Dave?
No, I've been focusing on my job.
Oh, okay. May I recommend the Rubberdingy Rapids?
What's this now?
Resistance is futile.
Oh, I get it.
You get it? You get what?
You know exactly what I get. It makes sense now. It makes sense why you're out here.
What does? I'm not being naive or anything.
Well, this clearly isn't an Adrenaline match. Here they are, the Agenda, on their way to the ring. And well, if Riley did think he was done with this war between the Resistance and the Agenda, if he thought he was going to get back to wrestling, clearly that thought may have been somewhat premature. Look at the look on his face. He knows why they're here. and I know why you're here.
Why am I here? I'm here to call some wrestling. I've been at the 360 Bar and Grill. Having steak.
You just don't get it at all, do you?
Get what?
You don't understand.
Dave, talk to me.
Never mind.
You've got a bee in your bonnet.
Who sent you out here?
Hey? Greg Lambert.
And why did he send you here?
Because there was an empty headset.
Have an agenda.
Strange, there's normally an empty headset for adrenaline matches. That's not normally an issue.
I don't know, I'll just do as I'm told.
I'll leave those cogs to slowly turn in your brain as we find out exactly what it is the agenda are after. David DeVille, the self-proclaimed FWA World Heavyweight Champion, has asked for a microphone. Well, Gibson's looking worried as well, but I think presumably this is more about Riley.
I've got no idea what you're talking about, by the way.
How did you do in school? Yeah. DeVille's waiting for applause. I don't think there's any coming. Looks like he has something to say to Nick Riley.
He's suited and booted.
Nicholas. Now, I thought I gave you a good enough beating at the Birmingham NEC. I thought I gave you enough of a lesson. Clearly, you didn't understand that lesson. So clearly, we have to give you another one.
I guess the lesson was many hands make light work.
Now, Nick, you should have stayed home, licking your wounds. But instead you decided to come down here to Thorpe Park and have an adrenaline match. Well, if you didn't realise, Nick, the agenda runs everything. Shut your mouths!
Nice one, though, isn't it?
And as we run everything, Nick, we decided to cancel this match.
What?
And instead, we're gonna crush your spirit, just like every single one of these spirit-crushed, worthless maggots. We're gonna crush you and leave you in a hospital bed next to Leroy Kincaid.
Notice the word we.
But we will give you a choice of how you want your spirit to be crushed. It can either be destroyed by Iestyn Rees, or it can be absolutely annihilated by Redman. Now it's a tough decision, isn't it? So I'll give you 10 seconds. Starting now!
What kind of choice is this? Like the frying pan or the fire?
This has nothing to do with you! 10!
Gibson being told to keep out of this, he's the wrong man in the wrong place. So Riley being given a choice, does he get beaten up by Redman or Rees, effectively is what DeVille's saying. Notice DeVille didn't put himself forward there.
Oh, of course. It's
Disgusting from DeVille.
5!
He looks down his nose at Riley.
4! 3!
Whoa.
Well,
2! 1!
Gibson is finally cut in here. Gibson just said something to Riley. Might not be the best idea for Gibson to be sticking his nose in, but
You made one?
how can you not? You can't leave Riley on his own here.
They're planning something.
Now, David, there's a big, big difference between us and you. We're here because we love pro wrestling. We're here because we have spirit. The difference is you're here for the money. And as if you don't earn enough money wiping the Queen's arse, or whatever exactly you actually do, you decide to come here and destroy our industry. I'm not going to take on one of your goons tonight, because I've found myself a partner, and we're going to teach you what fighting spirit is all about.
Sounds like that's what Gibson said to Riley. Gibson's not going to leave him, he's going to stick with him. And now look, Gibson getting into a shoving match with DeVille.
Oh.
Slap from DeVille. Gibson now as well. Rice is turning ugly fast. Here come Rees and
Look
Redman.
out.
The cheap shot from behind. Are we going to have this time we've got a tag match. But this isn't what the agenda had planned. I think they'd underplanned, if that's a word, for the courage of Zack Gibson, who's not going to leave Riley on his own here. Riley sends Gibson towards Rees. Rees counters with a backdrop. Gibson to the outside. And Riley has caught Rees. He's got the crucifix for the 2 count. Would have been an upset. The agenda would have looked a little stupid then, wouldn't it?
Of course. That was a hard elbow caught in the face of Nick Riley now. Iestyn Rees, the man mountain, look at him. What's he got him up for? Powerbomb.
Looks like that's what he's trying for. Riley knows it. He's trying to fight away. Manages to clutch onto the turnbuckle after a couple of strikes to the head.
Right under those feet.
Riley, small package by Riley. Might get it here. Riley's making Rees and Redman. Giving him a run around here.
Redman put his hands on referee Chris Roberts.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official has given Joel Redman his first public warning, a yellow card.
There's only one authority that Rees and Redman listen to, and I don't think it's the yellow or red cards of Chris Roberts, but nonetheless, gutsy decision from the referee.
The referee's there to exercise his authority. Cover 2.
Redman again trying to knock out that fighting spirit that Riley was talking about. Big snap suplex.
Fighting spirit. No pun intended, Dave.
Wasn't a plug, I promise.
Are you sure? Why don't you just plug the website while you're here?
Sorry, why are you here again?
Greg Lambert sent me out.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I do remember. You worked out why you're here yet?
Yeah, it's a bank holiday weekend.
The super kick from Riley in the meantime into the jaw of Redman.
Oh!
A backcracker by Riley on Redman. That gives him a chance to make the tag. Here comes Gibson. Gibson instantly going to the top.
Whoa!
Gibson's got a body over a cover again. And I'll tell you, all the attempts at winning this match so far have come from Riley and Gibson.
They're doing quick exchanges. They're doing quick now then.
Wait right there. David DeVille has no right to even be in the FWA. Trip of the leg. Oh, hang on. Chris Roberts is demanding that David DeVille and Scarlet Black head backstage. But that wasn't part of the plan.
What plan?
Good riddance.
What plans
plan?
What plans do you talk of, Dave? Oh, wait a minute! Cover! Got him!
Gibson gets sorry, I'm finding it hard not to laugh. You're on a different planet, aren't you?
No, I'm.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm
the
here at
official
Thorpe Park.
Yeah, you just come here to call some wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely clueless as to what's going on.
What do you mean? What's going on?
I'll explain it to you when you're older. Rees and Redman with the repeated stomps to Gibson, who is paying the price here for standing up for his colleague Nick Riley and his peer, who's another guy who believes that British wrestling has a future, a belief that isn't shared, certainly, by either Rees or Redman. These guys just want to use British wrestling as a stepping stone to get to the US, as has been well documented.
They can do whatever they want, Dave. See?
That choke from Redman. The referee is having to hold back Riley, who's...
It's called smart wrestling, Dave.
What do you know about being smart?
How dare you? Oh! Whoa, look at the grimace on Zack Diamond Gibson's face, and that knee's not going to help it either. Cover 2.
Knee into the face from Redman. And
Yeah.
I've heard him described as a human cyborg, Joel Redman, before. It's a very apt description, the way he just relentlessly, systematically takes the fight, punishes opponents. And Gibson is trying to fight back. He's in the opposition corner. He tries to make a dive for the tag, but Redman with almost a rugby tackle to stop that from happening.
Waistlock takedown, Dave Bradshaw.
Rolls him back into the corner. Trying to impress me with your knowledge of wrestling holds now.
See? I'm not as stupid as you think I am.
Not just a pretty face, eh?
Oh, I am a pretty face, but I'm not just a pretty face.
Rees went for another powerbomb there. Gibson has battled his way out. Just a constant battle to even stay in the match when you're against two men with the power and the intensity of Rees and Redman. But Gibson may make it to the corner. He does. The tag is official. In comes Riley.
Oh!
Big kick to the jaw. Rees didn't go down. My God.
Oh,
A sliced bread attempt. Oh, Redman caught him. Rees, and he got Redman in the face. It could be Riley's opening. Tag to Gibson. What's Riley trying for?
Oh, it's too big.
Too much weight. Gibson with a insecurity to the back of the head of Rees. This time he might get him.
He's got the big one.
A rolling thunder from Riley and a front smash from Gibson and a moonsault. My God,
fantastic.
They're gonna get him. They're gonna get him. No, they're not. No, they're not. 2.5. And Nick Riley almost pinned Iestyn Rees.
Oh, what a fantastic double team display that was. Oh, and now.
That's a high knee from Redman. He's wiped out Riley. It's left to just Rees and Gibson. And now Rees has got that power. Gibson. And that's going to be all. Rees with the cover. It is academic. They nearly lost, but the agenda pick up the win against Riley and Gibson.
Still dead.
And unsurprisingly, after the bell, here they come again. Rees and Redman making sure that Zack Diamond Gibson thinks twice before he ever interferes in their business again, I suppose will be their way of seeing it. How can you just sit here and condone this? You're not remotely criticising it.
But criticise what?
The stomps after the bell on a guy who's already been beaten.
Are you going to argue with two massive 6 foot plus guys built like that? Dave Bradshaw.
Yeah, it's not just two guys, is it?
He's got the belt off now.
Belt off.
Now he's going too far, in my opinion. Okay.
Well,
yeah. I don't. What's your game with these guys?
Good of you to find your moral compass.
Which way does my moral compass point?
I don't know. You don't know which way you're pointing half the time.
Are you sat nav now?
This is getting ugly in a hurry. DeVille is back out, another slap across the face to Riley.
Just like each and every one of you. Worthless, pointless, nothing.
Twisted face of hatred on David DeVille.
This is why resistance is futile.
Again, DeVille repeating the mantra of the agenda that resistance is futile as Rees and Redman continue to put the boot in. The agenda sending a message to Nick Riley today and to anyone else who gets in their business that once they have your card marked, they don't forgive and they don't forget. David DeVille, Iestyn Rees and Joel Redman. Oh, Riley and Gibson with low blows to Rees and Redman. Good God, they're still fighting back. Despite the abuse they've taken, and here comes the rest of the adrenaline locker room. The agenda weren't even supposed to be here today. The adrenaline roster finding strength in numbers here as Nick Riley draws a line in the sand and is daring, challenging David DeVille when he's left on his own to step over and show he has the guts of a champion. Well, DeVille blinks first. DeVille has bailed to the outside and Nick Riley has proved a point, at least temporarily here at Thorpe Park. But I tell you, G-Man, it would be very, very naive for Nick Riley or for anyone else to think that the agenda are going to let sleeping dogs lie here.
was phenomenal.
Well, DeVille's not
You
applauding.
know what? The resistance might not be in full force today, but tomorrow I'm coming back. And I'll have bigger truths to you to deal with, David. Tomorrow night, me and a partner of my choosing will take on your two cronies. And this time we'll be victorious. You know, you got a little saying that resistance is futile. Well, I'll show you what. If these people will stand with me, we'll show them it's not futile. FWA! FWA! FWA!